You know that feeling when you're in a conversation and something just doesn't add up. Nothing obvious, no clear contradiction. Just a subtle mismatch between what's being said and what's actually meant. And somehow, you catch it. Not because you're trying to, not because you're looking for it, it just appears. That's usually the part people don't understand about you. From the outside, it can look like distance, like you're overly analytical, maybe even detached. Like you're observing instead of participating. But what they miss is this. That distance isn't indifference, it's awareness. A quiet, constant scanning beneath the surface. There's a certain kind of mind that naturally works this way, often described as the INTP mindset, and it's rarely explained with the depth it deserves. Because what looks like overthinking is often something much more precise. A kind of internal pattern recognition running in the background, connecting details most people don't even register. Psychologically, this has to do with how your brain prioritizes information. Some people respond primarily to emotional cues in the moment, but others, like you, tend to step back, to analyze, to compare, to notice inconsistencies. Research in cognitive science suggests that this kind of processing leans heavily on internal frameworks, rather than immediate reactions. So instead of reacting to what someone says, you're quietly mapping how everything fits together. Their tone, their timing, what's missing, what feels slightly off. And over time, this becomes automatic, especially if at some point your environment required it. Maybe emotions weren't clearly expressed. Maybe people said one thing but meant something else. So your mind adapted. It learned to read between the lines, to understand what wasn't being said, just as much as what was. Not as a preference, but as a way to make sense of things. And it's important to say this clearly. This isn't better. It isn't worse. It's just different wiring. Some people feel their way through others. You tend to understand them. But there's a quiet paradox here. The same ability that lets you see through people can also create distance from them. Because when your mind is constantly analyzing, it becomes harder to fully relax into the moment. You might understand someone deeply and still feel slightly removed from the connection itself, a kind of invisible space, and that can feel isolating in a way that's difficult to explain. Still, there's something worth recognizing here. This way of seeing people, of noticing patterns, contradictions, and unspoken signals, isn't a flaw. It's a form of intelligence that doesn't always get acknowledged. It allows you to understand complexity without needing everything to be spelled out. You're not disconnected. You're just processing on a different layer. And if this feels familiar, there's a good chance this is only one part of how your mind works. One pattern among many.